Buddha once expounded on the nature and function of supernatural powers. He believed that these powers, such as the divine eye clairvoyance, divine ear clairaudience, mind reading, recollection of past lives, telekinesis, and the extinction of mental defilements, are abilities attained through meditation and spiritual practice. However, Buddha emphasized that these abilities should be used to help sentient beings and spread the Dharma, rather than for showing off or personal gain. He advised practitioners that although supernatural powers are miraculous, they should not be attached to them. True liberation lies in wisdom and compassion, not in the pursuit of supernatural abilities. This viewpoint reminds us that the pursuit of supernatural powers should not be the ultimate goal of spiritual practice. Instead, liberation and enlightenment should be the highest pursuits. Despite Buddha's teachings, as a layperson, I found myself drawn to the miraculous abilities of great masters after deciding to practice Buddhism. I tirelessly read stories about these powers. Below, I will share a few stories of these great masters. The first is Feng Feng 1935 to 2007. Originally named Zhang Zhixiong, later changed to Feng Pete. He was a Taiwanese writer, translator, painter, composer, and a devout Buddhist, known as Feng Feng Layman. Born in Guangzhou, Guangdong, his father was a Ukrainian officer, and his mother was from the Zhuang ethnic group. He was imprisoned during the White Terror period and later immigrated to Canada. He was self-taught in 9 languages, created numerous literary works, and self-taught classical music, with his works winning awards and being performed in Russia. In his later years, he obtained political asylum in Canada and settled in Vancouver. He claimed to possess supernatural abilities such as the divine eye, and often spoke of supernatural phenomena in his life experiences, which were closely linked to his faith and abilities. He publicly shared his meditation and divine eye experiments, beginning in September 1982. Almost every night, he had visitors experimenting with him, and every few days, he would receive long-distance calls from places like Hong Kong, the UK, the US, Singapore, Brazil, Argentina, and Europe, asking him to use his divine eye to diagnose illnesses. The public response was unexpectedly enthusiastic. Initially, he only intended to use these experiments as a preliminary exploration of the early stages of Buddhist meditation. He did not expect that it would evolve into diagnosing illnesses for others. His motivation for going public was to gradually inspire readers to develop an interest in studying Buddhist scriptures through his experiences, rather than to show off, and certainly not for financial gain. He believed that many people had similar spiritual experiences, and many were stronger than him. He did not consider himself to be a professional spiritualist, and did not dare to misuse his hard-earned spiritual abilities for commercial performances, fearing that he would violate the Buddha's intention in granting him these modest abilities. He felt that the Buddha's intention in granting him this modest power was to assist in spreading the Dharma and helping others, not for him to perform in nightclubs or on television. People who have not deeply studied space physics, paranormal psychology, particle physics, bioelectromagnetism, and other advanced sciences often ignorantly and foolishly criticize the supernatural phenomena in Buddhism. It is truly a case of a summer insect being incapable of discussing ice. He never tried to flatter the masses and was not afraid of such foolish criticisms. Originally, his home was quiet, but it soon became a place for many guests. At night, his home was filled with visitors, relieving the loneliness of his many years in seclusion. He did not intend to be ostentatious, but it was hard to hide it. After using his mental power to remotely view and diagnose Mrs. R's illness, many people in Canada and the US gradually learned about his ability to remotely view a lady in Toronto, 3,000 miles away, diagnose her with lung cancer, which was later confirmed by a hospital detailed in the Neeming Monthly issue 129, along with several other successful experiments. As a result, many people began to visit him. He was not trying to brag or self-promote. The experiments he recorded were all non-profit and without any intention of self-glorification. They should be regarded as a preliminary exploration of Buddhist meditation, and he welcomed guidance from the great masters. Skeptical readers might view it as just an experiment report, while those who have gained confidence in it need not place too much faith in him. He was merely a student of Buddhism, hoping that others would believe in Buddhism, practice it, and spread the Dharma to benefit all beings. Even if these experiments were ridiculed by anyone, he would still find joy in it. On September 23, 1982, at the foundation laying ceremony of the Vancouver Guanyin Temple, he planned to host a gathering at his home on the 26th to offer alms to Master Zhixiong, Master Jinshin, and Master Chengming, and invited the main organizers of the Vancouver Guanyin Temple and Buddhist friends, including Feng Gongxia Layman, president of the Vancouver World Buddhist Association. Engineer Guan Weipei, who designed the Great Hall of the Guanyin Temple, asked him, when will humanity finally develop a real cure for cancer? Mr. Guan and he had just recently met, but he noticed the profound sorrow in Mr. Guan's eyes. His question reflected both lingering pain and compassion, hoping that the world would no longer suffer from cancer. He was deeply moved and closed his eyes to pray for a vision from the Buddha. He saw flashes of Buddha light and was shown a time more than 100 years in the future, along with a new English word. The Buddha revealed that a biological engineering drug, developed to modify DNA to produce immunity, would succeed, enabling the DNA and cell nuclei to automatically eliminate mutated cells. Everyone present noted down the word and time he mentioned. They all agreed that this idea was very innovative and not something an untrained person like him could have fabricated. Geologist Suyuming Layman asked him, "Can you look into the problem with TL's sister?" Among those present was a female layperson named TL, whom he had just met and whose surname he didn't even know. No one had mentioned what problem her sister had or where she was. He replied, "I can try. I will pray for the Buddha and Bodhisattvas to grant me a vision, but the distance is very far, so I need everyone's help. You don't need to tell me the truth. Just close your eyes and recite Amitabha's name, and I might receive the Buddha's blessing to see the situation." Everyone closed their eyes and silently chanted Amitabha's name, while he closed his eyes, prayed, and used the divine eye. He first saw a blooming lotus, followed by a vision. "I see a very beautiful girl," he said. After describing her appearance, he continued, "I see that she is in great pain, struggling to breathe. Her lungs and trachea are filled with fluid, like pleural effusion, which explains her difficulty and suffering. However, her willpower is very strong, and she has a strong life force. She is not in danger. The pleural effusion can be drained by a doctor, but she will endure a lot of pain." TL layperson said nothing, but tears were streaming down her face, and she was crying so much that she felt dizzy and laid her head on the table. So Yuming layperson said, "To my knowledge, your diagnosis is very accurate." TL layperson later admitted, "It was very accurate." "Can you tell where her sister is?" someone asked. "I see her in Hong Kong, or at least the place looks like Hong Kong." The patient was indeed in Hong Kong, and after the pleural effusion was drained by a doctor, she gradually recovered. This experiment was witnessed by more than 20 people, including Feng Gongxia Layman, Su Yuming, and the engineer Su Zhixiong. After the gathering, many people asked him for individual body scans. That day, he continued diagnosing until midnight, and with the blessing of the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, he was able to see through each person's body like an X-ray, including their brain, nervous system, internal organs, bones, and even zoom in to view the blood and its components. He could even read blood pressure levels. Everyone said his diagnoses were completely accurate and marveled at his abilities, which even he couldn't fully explain. Some people felt nothing during his scans, but most said they felt an invisible heat from him, and some even reported feeling dizzy, with a few having to call for a stop midway. One woman felt so dizzy that she had to lean back on the sofa to rest.